You know what sound that is, folks? You betcha. That's another noon whistle. I'm Chris Trottier.
And I'm John Anzalone, and we are here today with Sam Huberty. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
Good. Good. Sam's the owner of Wisconsin Dance Theatre, which is out of the Heartland-Delafield area, correct?
Yep.
And not only is he a business owner now, but he is still a professional dancer, and he I forgot now what do you call it? Guesting. You still do guesting.
I still do guesting.
If someone gets hurt in a show, they may call you and say, you need to be in New York?
Yeah. We'll so a lot of what happens is, there's a lot of money that goes into shows, and if somebody gets hurt last minute, it can be a really big issue, especially if they don't have an understudy. So what they'll do is they'll usually it'll be usually through people that you know. I'll get a call and they'll say, hey, are you free on this day? And then of course I'm free, so they'll send me a video, and then I'll learn the thing sometimes on the plane, and then we'll get there and get off the plane. You've got like anywhere from 24 to 72 hours to meet your partner, get everything ready to go, and then you do the shows, you get back on the plane and fly back.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to talking about your professional career, but before that, you were an Elkhorn student, correct?
I was, yeah, absolutely. I was in options when it was like in its infancy.
2016.
You may have been the first graduate, right? We think.
It was pretty close.
Very possible.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I remember at graduation I got this really cool medallion. I still have it. I actually framed it in like a ship, but it had like a rocket ship on it because I was one of the first participants in the program. And it was such a cool program because it allowed me to. Because at the time I'd left home when I was 16 because I wanted to learn how to do this for a job, and I had an opportunity to move to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to work with Fort Wayne Ballet and their academy, so that I could kind of start getting used to what we had to do. And options allowed me to stay in my high school education, so I didn't have to try and take like a GED and graduate early.
Sure.
So I could. So it was really cool, because otherwise then you have to like try and move there when you're 16 years old and then go to school in a new state.
Or even like try to homeschool, right? To go,
Yeah.
I'll send for a program and I'll try to do this. Like you were kind of a trailblazer at the same time Elkhorn was being a trailblazer.
Well, yeah,
right?
and I think what's really cool is I'm just thinking about fast forward to now. I mean, here we are 8-9 years later, right? 9 years later, and you're thinking about the Vukovich family, right? AJ Vukovich did kind of a similar situation. Now he's with the Diamondbacks. We have people at options right now in equine, volleyball, who are just tennis, who are looking to train and find that opportunity, but still have a connection to the school district. So it's really cool that we could tell that you're telling this story, and it's hard to believe we had that going out of 2016. Pretty incredible vision.
Well, I think what we need a picture of you with the medallion.
I'll find it. I have
and so much like when you walk into mansions and stuff, there's the owner's picture. We'll put you in options as the first graduate.
Yeah, we need to blow that one up, right? Yeah.
Well, if I can find it, it might be. I think it's in storage in a bin in the basement. I'll pull it out because we moved, so like all my stuff I haven't fully unpacked, but I'll pull it out and maybe we bring it to the show and we can do.
I love it.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be really neat. That'd be really neat. So how do you when you reflect on that experience, because Elkhorn was new to this kind of options experience, how would you communicate your experience to someone if I said, what did you do? How did that work?
It was a ton of fun, actually. I had a blast, because I always think I love being involved in things that are new, and chaotic is the wrong word, but like in their infancy, because there's so much to learn and so much to figure out. Like I feel like they got a grip on it really fast, because like within the first 3 months, all of a sudden we needed test proctors. Because the first while things were getting set up, it's because online schooling is still really new, so we had so much stuff that was going on, and it was taken care of so well. Like if we needed anything, we would just email in and they'd be like, oh, well, let's find a solution. Like, let's make it work. I was able to do AP courses too, which was amazing. They made it really easy for me to be able to sign up and come back and take the AP testing, which was really awesome, because we were like in the middle of shows and stuff, so it's really hard to so they made it possible to we trained anywhere at the time. It was like 8 to 10 hours a day. So you're there like all day, and then you have to do school as much as you can, and yeah, it was great. I mean, they figured out too that because what we were doing was so physical that like we had to get gym class credits.
Oh,
so they did an eval of what we were doing in training, and they're like, yeah, just you have to write like I had to write like papers and stuff on it to get the credit, but they were very flexible with what we were doing to allow us to be able to go and pursue something like that for so many hours a week, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great experience.
And this allowed you the opportunity to become a professional dancer, correct? It's like, where were your travels?
Yeah, I was saying, yeah.
Where did it go from there?
So after options, I stayed with Fort Wayne Valley for 2 years, and then we looked at trying to get a startup going, a startup company, and it just didn't really quite catch. And so then I ended up down in South Carolina, and I worked for South Carolina Valley for a couple of years, and it was a ton of fun. I had a really good time, made a lot of good friends down there, and then I had this opportunity. There's an opportunity in there because your companies, you take breaks intermittently. So during the time in South Carolina, I was able to go to Nairobi, Kenya, and work with an organization called Artists for Africa, where they provide teaching and educational resources where it just might not be possible to get it otherwise. And they have, I think, 5 schools in Nairobi that they take kids into and they teach them. And so it was really cool to get to go and hang out. And I went to Cape Town, South Africa, to work with a gentleman from Zero Copper House for a little bit. And then from there, the contact from Zero Copper House in South Africa, he had moved to Israel, to Jerusalem Valley. And so they were expanding, and they offered, I got a phone call, and they just said, hey, would you consider coming here? Would you want to come here? We're looking for some people. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, when do you need me? When can you get here? And I was like,
yesterday, right?
Yeah. They were like, well, if you could be here in like a month, that would be awesome. So we had 4 weeks. So I had to go back in because I was doing a guesting actually in Florida at the time, and I had to go back in to the hotel room, and I was like, hey, honey, so we're going to be moving to Jerusalem. Yeah. I was like, they got you a contract. I have a contract. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell all of our stuff, and we're going to get on a plane and go. And she was incredibly understanding, and went on this adventure.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a blast.
Well, I probably missed. You're married.
I am,
You're married, and Jordan is also a professional dancer.
Yes, yeah.
She couldn't be with us here because she's running Wisconsin Dance Theatre, right?
Yeah, she's busy today. She's up taking care of stuff this morning. We were on a call, I think, right away, like 8 o'clock this morning, trying to sort some stuff out for the shows coming up in July. So she's handling some stuff, so I was able to come down here and. Yeah.
Well, we thank her for letting you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan.
Thank you for allowing me to go to Jerusalem.
Yeah,
on a whim.
Yeah.
We thought it was hard moving a couple miles.
Right?
We were whining and complaining. He's changing countries, continents.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird process to go get your visa and everything. Jordan has an immense amount of patience for what I like to do for my adventures. Yeah.
So how long were you in Jerusalem for?
Actually, not as we were supposed to be there for like we were broaching a 10-year contract, so we were looking to be here for like quite a while. Like those were the discussions. We were looking at staying there for quite some time because we weren't just dancing, but we were also helping with organizing operations and expansion for the company. So we were trying to get just more shows going, more touring, more opportunities. And when things started happening in October, we were like, we got to go. So we were only there for a couple of months before everything kind of started. And so it was a very short-lived experience, but it was a lot of fun.
When did you move back?
I think we got back to the U.S. on October 10th of 2023. So we were there during the start of everything, which was kind of why we had to leave.
Yeah.
Because we got a notice from the embassy that was just sort of the U.S. embassy was like, if you don't need to be here, you should go.
That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
Right.
They worded it very diplomatically.
Yeah.
So we were really lucky. We got I think either the last or the second to last flight out of Ben Gurion, and we were able to make it home, which was awesome, because it's just, it wasn't our place to be. So, and then we took, I had a couple job offers. I actually, was kind of funny when we had a layover in Dublin, and I had 2 phone calls while we were on the layover, because it was like international news. So friends were calling and they were like, "Hey, just so you know, you have a job here if you want."
Wow.
But when we got back, we decided, we were like, I think we wanted to stay in Wisconsin near our family, and that then spawned this idea to then get a company going here and do a lot of the touring into places where maybe they don't, shows aren't always readily available, or it's either you got to drive to Milwaukee, Madison, Chicago, or the Twin Cities to go see a larger production. And there's a lot of theaters all over the states, so it's that's kind of how that got started.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Wisconsin Dance Theater. You and Jordan are the owners, right? Owner-operators.
Yeah. Well, so we have the Wisconsin Dance Theatre Conservatory, which is that is for profit. That's an S corp now, and that's the schooling portion. And then the Wisconsin Dance Theater is a nonprofit entity that runs. So that's the professional part.
Gotcha.
So most of your professional companies are nonprofit.
Okay.
Because it's hard to run shows, and a lot of it relies on donations and charitable contributions and grant money from various organizations to be able to function.
Sure.
So,
well, I thought it was interesting. We were talking before you got in here, Chris, that he does the guesting, and he runs this dance company, which means you have to stay trained and fit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us about what's a typical day in the life of Sam and Jordan.
Busy. We usually start sometimes up around 6, 7, somewhere in there. Generally, we're on by 8 o'clock. Sometimes if I forget I have something at 7 o'clock, I roll out of bed and I immediately get on a call at 7 a.m. But usually we run administrative operations from till about anywhere from 1 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we have to go into the studio and we train and run classes. So we're usually 7 to 9 p.m. our usual hours. Sometimes if something exciting happened, we'll be up till 11, 12, 1 in the morning trying to figure out how to, mitigate whatever excitement has happened.
So you're doing the administrative stuff. You're teaching other students and you're training yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And anything that comes up.
Yep.
So owning a business and being a guest dancer is really easy.
Yeah, it's easy. Everyone should do it. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But you seem to love it.
I do. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything else. I would be. I think I have trouble sitting still, so I picked a really good line of work to keep myself busy.
Well, we'd have to mention there's another woman in your life that probably got you started in this, right? We should probably mention her.
Yeah, my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So my mom ran toe-to-toe in downtown Elkhorn for a long time. I know at least 15 years. But it started in our basement in our house, actually.
Really?
I think it used to be St. Patrick's School, but now it's actually the Options Building.
Yeah,
it is.
I grew up right around the corner from there. So that's where the original school was in the basement. We had it. We gutted the basement and re-outfitted it with floors and mirrors and stuff.
Oh my gosh!
She started with a handful of
kids. I didn't know that.
Yeah, teaching lessons before.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. It was kind of. It was cool because all our friends would come over and then they would just go take lessons in the basement. And we got to see so many. It was a blast. It was a ton of fun. I think she did that for the first year or 2 years maybe, and then she started getting so many kids that wanted to take lessons that we just it was not going to stay there.
Yeah.
Too many people in the house.
Sounds like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah. So she I think. She had a really great way of building a good sense of community and instilling a love and a passion in the arts, even if you didn't want to do it for a living. She had a really great way of getting people to find a genuine love for it and not just a superficial. I want to put on a costume at the end of the year. It was you just really enjoyed the work. So
that's great.
But I think you're right. Knowing your mom and watching what she did there, it was everybody from I just want to do this because it's fun to I want to make a career out of this. How do I do that? And all in the middle. I think she did a really good job of that. And I even ended up in one of your mom's performances one year.
Yeah, I remember.
The Nutcracker.
See, I knew that.
Yeah, I think I was in the show.
Yes, you were. You were.
That's
I
great.
danced with professional dancers, Chris.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, honorary professional. We gotta look at you a contract.
There you go. You're your guest dancer.
I'm good. Yeah, I passed that my prime.
If you get a request to go to Jerusalem, I would recommend.
You would.
I passed.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Right now, it's probably a good idea.
But Sam, so we can't wrap up here because we're getting close to that time without saying you guys are bringing a performance to Elkhorn.
There you go.
We are. Yeah. We I called in a bunch of favors from friends. They're all flying out. A lot of them are coming from the East Coast to come and put on this production at Elkhorn Area High School.
Wow.
Which
awesome.
Yeah, Elkhorn was so nice. We were like, can we use the theater? They were like, yes, absolutely. So they've helped us massively get everything organized, and in terms of like helping us, like we're just pointing us in the direction like who to go, because I haven't been home in like it's been almost a decade. I've been gone for a while, so they really helped and get us connected. And a lot of the people in the community that we did know previously, Elkhorn's been so supportive in helping us just get organized and getting who to talk to, who to go and see to get the word out to. So it's been a blast, which is how we ended up doing this.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
let's get the.
So what day's the show?
July 12th and 13th. So there's 2 performances on, I believe on the 12th, 2 p.m. So we have a matinee and then a 7 p.m. show. And then there's a matinee on the 13th. And we're also doing, afterwards, there's a meet and greet, I believe at Friends on the Square,
nice.
On the upstairs room. So if you want to come and meet the dancers after the show, they'll be up there and they can say hi.
Really cool.
Yeah, because Joe's actually coming back. My youngest brother is going to be doing the show as well with his wife.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So we managed to get
Look at that.
Yeah. Some of the dancers coming, a lot of them are actually from Wisconsin originally.
Oh, that's cool.
It's hard to find work, so
right.
A lot of us have had to leave and go other places. So a lot of them are coming back to come and do the show. And so it's all to jazz music. So it's a very lively show. It's very quirky. And it takes place right at the end of World War II with all the GIs coming home. Okay. So all of the uniforms actually we have for the soldiers are actual combat uniforms from World War II.
Really?
And we're naming the characters after the people who originally owned the uniforms.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Reaching out to families to get photos and whatever we can from them we're trying to make it like as involved in the community as we can and something special for people.
That's really special.
Yeah.
So where do they get tickets? Where do we go buy tickets or they just show up?
You should be able to buy them at the door.
Okay.
You can buy them at the door. Otherwise, if you go online to our website, we have a link to. I think we're going through.
Which is right up on the banner there, WisconsinDanceTheatre.com.
Yep.
And we have 821 seats in the auditorium, so let's fill that up.
And we have 3 shows, so it's.
You sure about that number?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
See, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was 41, but it's all right. I'm gonna go with you. I'll trust you.
Sam's mom. Worked with me on the seating chart and the labeling it for ticketing. So
is this after we redid it or no?
After we.
Okay, all right, I'll trust you. Maybe I have the old number.
Yeah, so I only know because Colleen.
There you go.
Yeah. But if it's a performative art. So the best way we can receive support is by having people come and watch us.
Yeah.
It's not there's if there isn't an audience, what we're doing is kind of pointless. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be really good. I know you guys have been back to do some stuff for United We Dance, and when your mom was teaching, and I would encourage people to go. It's amazing. It's absolutely professional, and really a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and we have jazz musicians coming as well to play. Some of the sections are played live. One of your graduates this year is supposed to be doing it. Jameson, he's got a group we're putting together that I think is playing parts of the show. And Kyle over at J. Roberts has a group that he's going to
look at that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Holy cow.
It's really fun. So
we better get Kyle and J. Roberts on now.
We better.
Yeah.
That's
good.
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, this has been great. Yeah, this is great. Well, Sam, we appreciate you being on here. We're proud of you for all your successes, and thank you for coming on and pulling over Tell Jordan we appreciate her.
Yeah.
Kind of running the ship while you were gone, and July 11th and 12th, right?
July 12th and 13th.
12th and 13th.
12th and 13th.
July 12th and 13th.
Yeah.
Get out, see some alumni, see some great performers.
Yeah.
Elkhorn Auditorium. What do you think?
That's all I got.
That's all I got. All right, and on that note,
Thanks, Sam.
thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, and on that note, let's all go back to work. That was our lunch. Have a great day and stay cool, everybody.